Well, if you don't mind, I think I'm going to take over from here because, well, quite frankly, my friend, you got a funny accent. And we're going to talk about Pheochromocytoma. Well, the Pheochromocytoma, as it says here, it's a little tumor of the adrenal medulla. What's the adrenal medulla? Well, that's the adrenal medulla. That's actually the adrenal gland right here on top of the kidneys. And it has like a cortex and it has medulla in different layers. So one of the layers, the medulla, is what is secreting catecholamines. Well, what are catecholamines? You know the catecholamines, my friend. They're epinephrine and norepinephrine. You've heard of that. EpiPen, or another word for them is adrenaline. I get lots of adrenaline out there in my horses when we're doing things like fighting off engines. But anyway, what do they do? What do epi and norepi do? Well, I think you probably heard of it before, so you can tell me. We'll look at that in the next slide. Let's see what here. We got us with a pheochromocytoma, the signs and symptoms. Well, you get hypertension. What's that mean? You get high blood pressure. And it's paroxysmal. That means we can't figure out why. It doesn't make so much sense. Why would you get high blood pressure with an increase of epinephrine and norepinephrine? Episodic hypertension. Well, not only do we get the hypertension, but it's in episodes, as in it comes and it goes. Comes and it goes. So now we get high blood pressure or hypertension in little episodes. But we got us a triad here. Yes, sir. A triad of diaphoresis. That's number one. What's diaphoresis? Diaphoresis is a sweating, isn't it? We got episodic headaches, as in the headaches, they come and they go. And we get us a tachycardia thing. Oh, there we go. Now we're talking about why we might put this in the nervousness part, huh? Got that tachycardia, that really fast heart rate going on. So other symptoms, the anxiety, that's what we're talking about. Chest, abdominal pain. Well, that would hurt. We don't know why it would hurt. Let me see, why would that hurt? Well, maybe it's too fast a heart rate. I don't know about that. Maybe you get a little hypoxic, and maybe that'll cause a little bit of pain. I'm not sure why you get abdominal pain other than maybe you got this big old, you got a tumor. So maybe that'll be the problem. Maybe that'll hurt. Maybe pushing on something here like that big old fat aorta. Pallor. You're going to lose some color. You're going to look pretty pale or whitish. Orthostatic hypotension. That means that you have hypo, as in low blood pressure, but when you stand up. That's when you stand up. You stand up and whoop, your blood pressure drops to the floor. Oh, hot Jiminy. Hyperglycemia. Well, that means you got too much sugar in your blood. I know that. Too much sugar in your blood. Part of the pheochromocytoma. Well, I wonder if that has anything to do with that adrenaline going around, running around in your blood. Because a lot of sugar in your blood also make you pretty hyper, won't it? But then you get weight loss. Well, I guess that sugar's not in your blood. I mean, it's in your blood. Must not be in your fat, right? So maybe you're using that. Oh, also, because your whole metabolic system is increased with all that adrenaline running around in it. Well, let's see. We can look at it through a CT. Because if we got a big old tumor sitting over there in the adrenal gland, we're going to see it. Got a urine analysis where we can look for what? We can look for that epi and that norepi in there in the blood or in the urine. Because if it's in the blood, it's going to come out. And then we got a surgery. Alright, so we'll just take our little knife and we'll just kind of cut it right out of there, right? Get rid of that sucker. This looks familiar. I think I've seen this before. Now we're talking about, again, the norepi and the epi, and these are the catecholamines. And one word for catecholamines, one thing we always say about those is they use those to fight or flight. Remember adrenaline? Adrenaline, catecholamine, like the norepinephrine and epinephrine, but fight or flight. So now I got a choice to make, right? Got this big old dog, he's maybe the alpha dog. He's coming in here, and then this little fuzzy puppy dog right here. He's like, what the dude, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna fight or am I gonna flight? I think I'm gonna take my little hoof paws right here and I'm gonna run, because that German Shepherd to chew me up and have me for dog bones. Okay, lots of adrenaline going, what? Coming out of there. That's a little adrenaline. Bam. Okay, but here's what's going on, right? The fight or flight response. You get that stress coming in there, and your nervous system, your sympathetic, is going, dude, we got to get some adrenaline out of here. So let's go ahead and send that signal to the adrenal medulla, right in there in the adrenal gland, which is right there. Okay, we send that signal over to the adrenal medulla, and it's going to go ahead and release those epi and norepinephrine, or the adrenaline, back in the bloodstream. And now we're going to say, woo, doggy, we need that adrenaline flowing through everything now. And now we got to look at the fight or flight thing. So we're going to get a really fast heart rate, and we're going to get lots of dilating in the blood arteries and everything. They're going to get all pumped up, get ready to go. We start kicking sugar in the blood. We decide, oh man, it's time to go. Our eyeballs get really big. Like, what? Yeah, you see that right there. What? There's a big dog coming at me. What? We got to do something. Oh, he looks cool now. All right, let's move on then. Whew, looks like we got here an MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. And what we're looking at right here is we're looking at well, you got already got an arrow there, so I don't know what I got to draw it again for, but there you are. Well, you get this big old nasty bumpity thing sitting in there that shouldn't be in there. Okay. Well, this is my little kidney, I think, down here, isn't it? Is that kind of my kidney? I got a big old chunker sitting on there, man. I don't think my little adrenal gland's supposed to be like that big. You know, that's a honker right there. Okay, but that's all that's really doing, is it saying that you got the big old mass right there, and it's actually getting rid of that vena cava anteriorly. So it's pushing that sucker right out of there. It's a wank. It's like, I got a mass, I'm gonna go ahead and push you right out of the way, you big old stinking vein. And you see that a lot of times when you got something that big pushing on there. Alrighty. Now we're gonna move on to being anxiety. Having anxiety, or now you really kinda, oh, I don't know, you are freaking, right? You're freaking out. Because you're like, what? Who is this goofy little ghost person sitting behind this window looking at me? That's kind of scary. Alrighty. Well, those city folk, they would say anxiety is a state of being uneasy, apprehensive, or worried about what may happen. My mama said, you don't worry about what may happen, boy. You worry about what is happening now. But no, you get anxiety if you start worrying about what's gonna happen. Right? Right. It's normal. It's a normal emotion. Everybody has anxiety. Except me, of course. Anxiety will set off an alarm reaction in our body, tell you to fight or flight. Right? Well, I like to fight. You might want to flight, but that's okay. Adrenaline released. But typically, you get better. After it's gone, it's all better. Alrighty? Now here's the problem. The problem is when it doesn't. When it stays around or persists and interferes with my normal day-to-day life and in my relationships, then it may be classified as a disorder. Now it's a problem, right? Everybody getting nervous once in a while, but as long as it doesn't hang out, we okay. Ooh, that's scary. They're coming. That's my shameless little plug for that zombie run. There you go. Alright. We got two kinds of anxiety, right? We have everyday anxiety, and then we got one that becomes a disorder or a problem. Okay, that's basically what we're talking about here. Because, I mean, everybody worry about paying bills or a job or romantic breakups or other things that are important in life, right? Well, you get embarrassed sometimes, or you get awkward social situation, or you get nerves or sweating. Maybe you got a big test coming on, or business presentation, or stage performance. Anything that's really big in your life, everybody get nervous, right? Maybe it's a realistic fear. Well, yeah, it's a dangerous object, place, or situation. About ready to get my head blown off, man. That's okay. You're supposed to be worried about that. Or making sure you're healthy and living in a safe, hazard-free environment. What the? I guess you city folk got to worry about that, living in the hood. Okay? Anyway, so you get a little bit anxious, right? You get a little sad. Maybe you can't sleep a little bit. Need a little hot cocoa, cup of warm milk. And maybe it's for a reason. Maybe your dog just got run over. Okay, so that's okay. That's normal stuff. What's not normal is when you can't stop it. So now it's constant. And it make no sense. Man, why you want to be all worried about that? Okay, that's what unsubstantiated mean. Because now there's no reason for it. And when that happen, when it all the time and there's no reason for it, and you still worrying, boy, then that causes significant distress and interferes with your daily life and you can't function. So what do? Well, you stay inside, man. You avoid being out with social people, and you're afraid of being judged, or you're afraid of being embarrassed or humiliated. And I tell you what, you live life like that, you be on nowhere, because you get embarrassed and humiliated and judged every day. So one of the things is sometimes it is out of the blue panic, right? It makes like no sense at all. And then you are worried, because once you have one, you are worried you're going to have another one. And that just keep you tied up and hopeless at home. Well, maybe it's another thing. Maybe it's just an irrational fear or avoidance of an object, place, or situation that poses, well, you got little or no threat of danger there, boy. That's like going out there and telling you to milking the cows, but you freak out because you're like, man, those cows are going to eat me. They're like zombie cows, right? Well, that doesn't make more sense because there's no such thing as zombie cows. Duh. Alrighty. Performing uncontrollable repetitive actions such as excessive cleaning or checking or touching and arranging. Well, that's anxiety. That's anxiety because you're too worried. You're too worried about something going to happen. You can't control it, man. You got to keep checking and checking and checking and checking. Alrighty? Well, maybe you get recurring nightmares. That happen every night. You go to sleep, you're all snuggly, and next thing you know, wow, you're waking up screaming, or maybe you're back in the war. You're going to flashback. Or maybe you just get emotionally numb and you're like, dude, nothing there. Somebody shoot a bomb off in your face and you're like, I never been there, man. Okay? So anyway, but it had to happen a long time ago before that's a problem, right? Okay, let's look at these overview video. No, let's not look at the overview video. We're going to look at something else. If I can figure out how to do that. Because I don't even know how to do that. I got to figure out how to go back to this right here. Oops, can't do that. Don't want to do that. Oh, you be quiet. Don't be doing that on me. What I want to do is I want to show you this thing, but it's going to be difficult on me, so stop clicking things. We're going to watch a video here. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take this guy and we're going to tell it to stop doing what it's doing, and then we're going to click on that and we're going to copy it, and we're going to go down here and we're going to open it up and we're going to watch this video right here.
Hello and welcome to The Answered Patient. I'm Jenkins. In this episode, you'll learn about anxiety disorders, some of their symptoms, how they're diagnosed, and the treatment options ones that are currently available. We all know that modern life can be stressful. Balancing the demands of our family and work lives can often cause feelings of stress and anxiety as we try to do all that we need to. And for most people, anxiety about deadlines or social situations is normal. But for people suffering from an anxiety disorder, this sense of nervousness is chronic, lasting for 6 months or more. These feelings can be overpowering and are often out of proportion with reality. Anxiety disorders are the most common mental health problem affecting adults in the U.S.
In our country, we spend $47 billion a year taking care of patients that have anxiety, and that includes pharmaceutical support, psychotherapy, medical visits, and so on. And it also includes the economic aspect of lost wages.
While the exact cause of anxiety disorders is unknown, experts believe that heredity may be involved. Environment, personal development, even your diet may play a role in whether you have an anxiety disorder.
That looks good, doesn't it?
So what is anxiety? In part, it's a physiological response to a stressful situation. It's related to the so-called fight or flight response. When faced with a dangerous situation, anxiety can be a useful tool to help us anticipate trouble, spurring us into action, and keeping us out of harm's way. In dangerous or frightening situations, our heart rate goes up, blood flow to the heart and muscles increases, and production of the hormone adrenaline rises. Under normal circumstances, when the danger passes, the physical responses and the heightened feelings of fear and stress that go along with them will pass too. But with an anxiety disorder, these feelings and physical symptoms are persistent and interfere with everyday life.
It's a normal emotion. There are countless situations where anxiety is appropriate and a good thing. If you're walking down a dark street and you hear somebody walking behind you, you want to be vigilant.
When it's interfering with your day to the point that you're unable to get basic needs completed, basic job functions done, school things that you need to do completed because all you're doing is worrying about it, then it's a problem.
There are 5 types of anxiety disorders. Each is usually diagnosed by its symptoms. There's generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, panic disorder, and social phobia, also called social anxiety disorder. Generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, is one of the more common forms of anxiety disorders. GAD affects nearly 7 million people in the U.S. alone. It can begin at any age, but many people develop GAD in childhood or early adolescence. Women are twice as likely as men to develop this form of anxiety. As the name suggests, worries for people with generalized anxiety disorder tend to be general and are often related to everyday life. Obsessive-Compulsive Disorder, or OCD, is a second type of anxiety disorder. In this disorder, a person persistently experiences troubling thoughts or obsessions, which lead to rituals or compulsions that are used to try to control those thoughts. For example, someone with OCD may feel the need to perform certain acts, like locking a door, in a certain sequence, or they may also do things repetitively. These rituals may temporarily keep the obsessive thoughts at bay, but many people with OCD are fully aware of their habits and are troubled by them.
Obsessions are intrusive, unwanted, repetitive. The individual sees them typically as senseless. They don't seem to jibe with who they are as a person.
An anxiety disorder can also develop following a particularly stressful or traumatic event. This type of anxiety is called post-traumatic stress disorder. It often develops after an event in which a person has experienced the threat of physical harm or has actually been hurt. People suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder may be emotionally numb or may startle more easily. They may lose interest in activities they used to enjoy. Flashbacks or thoughts and memories about the event are common and tend to be persistent. A person with panic disorder typically experiences a rush of panic, which can involve a sudden feeling of terror along with very frightening physical responses, such as rapid heartbeat, sweating palms, and dizziness. During a panic attack, a person may feel as if they're having a heart attack. Social phobia, also called social anxiety disorder, is an intense fear of everyday social interactions. A person with social...
Oh, that's sad. That's so sad we gotta take a little break, 'cause it looks like it's buffering and buffering and buffering and buffering and buffering. Still buffering. Hey, look, she's making like a peace sign with the fingers. She's like, hey, peace out, man. I wonder if she's doing that on purpose. Of course, she got a funny look on her face right now, too. Makes it look like her nose is really big. Kind of flattened it out. Made it look like a big wedgy diamond thing. Well, I guess it's a triangle. But what happened to her funny lips? Her lips look really funny right there. Why are we buffering still? That's buffering and buffering. Why, this is pretty sad. Of course, I'd be nervous too if that big old face on those screens behind me were looking at me like that. He looks kind of creepy, doesn't he? He's staring at her. And he's got these beady eyes looking at her, looking at the back of her head, thinking, boy, you better have some anxiety, 'cause I'm coming for you. That's what he's doing. That's what he's saying. Pretty weird. Still don't know what we're doing, buffering and buffering and buffering. This could be a while. Wonder if we can speed her up a bit here by just kind of moving it along.
Feel that they are being watched and judged by others. Or they may experience intense dread about an upcoming social situation, sometimes worrying over it for weeks in advance. Much has been learned in recent years about why anxiety disorders develop and how they can best be treated. For many, a combination of psychotherapy and prescription drugs can help keep these conditions under control. As with any condition, talk to your doctor if you think you may be suffering from an anxiety disorder. He or she can work with you to find the best treatment.
Anxiety is not a fear of a thing. It's really a fear of the way we think about a thing.
It is something that can be easily treated and something that has a great outcome if the medications work and therapy helps and it's possible to get better.
In the other chapters of this episode, you can learn more about how anxiety is diagnosed, get some science on how it works in your body, and discover the various treatment options available to you. And in our personal story chapter, you'll meet a real doctor and patient who are successfully coping with an anxiety disorder. Finally, if you would like to be kept up to date on anxiety disorders, you can subscribe to this series on healthanswerstv.com.
So there you go. We have to take a break, though, because we ran over our 20 minutes, so we're about 23.5 minutes. We'll take a break right here.